Hi, my name is Chris and this is Battle Nonsense. Your experience in games like Fortnite, Battlefield, PUBG or any other online multiplayer game strongly depends on the quality of your connection to the server. A ping of more than 75 milliseconds will already result in noticeable lag, and latency variation or packet loss will result in rubber banding or that your shots don't register. So what can you do to improve the quality of your connection? There are services like Haste, WTFast and Outfox which try to eliminate all these issues. WTFast even wants to allow you to experience online gaming without lag, which is just marketing nonsense really, as you will always have at least a bit of lag when you play over the internet. So how do they try to improve the quality of your connection to the game server? I live here in Austria. Now let's say that I want to play a game which hosts its game servers here in a data center in Ireland. It would be great if there was a direct connection between my home and that data center, but that's not how the internet works. My data must pass through multiple hops before it then reaches the server. How many? Well, that depends on the routing that you, the players, have no control over. This is done by your internet service provider and the internet backbone providers that they are working with. Now, as you can imagine, more hops between you and the game server will not only increase the lag, but also the risk of packet loss. This is where those services like Haste, WTFast and Outfox come in. They will use their own servers and private routes to provide games with a faster or shorter route to the game server. This is also one of the biggest differences between these services and a VPN, since when you use a VPN, all data will be passed to the VPN server, while Haste, WTFast and Outfox will only reroute the traffic of the game that you play while you are playing it. So these services aim to reduce lag, latency variation and packet loss by providing games with a faster path to the game server. And I'm sure that you already noticed the catch here. They are only able to improve the quality of your connection to the server if they can offer something that is better than what your internet service provider is doing. If your connection looks like this, then none of these services will lower your lag. They will do the opposite. Now let's take a closer look at these services. Sadly, Haste is not available outside of North America, which is why I was only able to test WTFast and Outfox. But my verdict also applies to Haste as well as all the other similar services. So after you installed Outfox, you don't need to configure anything. It will automatically detect the game you play. If that game is supported by Outfox, then it will determine if it can provide a better path to the server than your ISP can. In this case here, Outfox noticed that it can't improve my connection to the server, and so it simply leaves it alone. In this example here, Outfox tells me that it improved my connection by 83%, as I now have a ping of 18 milliseconds instead of more than 100 milliseconds to that game server. However, when we take a look at the network graph that is built into Battlefield 1, then we can clearly see that I have a ping of 106 milliseconds to the game server, which is not a surprise as it is located on the east coast of the United States of America, while I am here in Austria. Those 18 milliseconds that you see here is my ping to the Outfox server located in Frankfurt. So something goes very wrong here inside of Outfox, as it fails to determine my ping to the game server. When I disable Outfox and then join the exact same server again, then the network graph shows a latency of 104 milliseconds, which means that even though Outfox thought that it could improve my connection by 83%, it actually added a few milliseconds to my ping. I have repeated these tests with CSGO and Overwatch, since these are supported by Outfox and come with a powerful network graph that provides some solid data on my connection to the server. In every case where Outfox thought that it could improve my connection, it actually caused a minor delay increase, while it reported that it improved my connection. Another issue that I noticed with Outfox and Battlefield 1 specifically was that it doesn't notice when I switch servers. When I first joined a server in Germany and then switched to another one in a different country or even on another continent, Outfox still showed that I was connected to that game server in Germany. I always had to restart the game to get Outfox to evaluate my connection to that new server. Another issue was that with Outfox enabled, it would sometimes take several attempts to join a server if I had a ping of more than 100 milliseconds to that server. Servers to which I had a ping of more than 200 milliseconds I couldn't join at all. Not that I want to play on such servers, but I tried to test if it could improve my connection to servers very far away. But instead, Battlefield 1 told me that my connection does not meet the requirements to connect to that server. WTFast works a bit differently. It does not automatically detect the game you play. Instead, you type the title of the game into the search box and then launch the game from within the application. Or at least it tries to launch the game, as it failed to launch Overwatch in my tests. But when this happens, then you just have to launch the game manually and WTFast will detect it then. Now, with WTFast enabled, you can pretty much forget using the server browser in Battlefield 1, as you now get insanely high pings here. And just like with Outfox, Battlefield 1 does not allow me to join servers which are very far away. Again, I do not want to play on servers which are on the other side of the earth. I just tried to test if the service would reduce my ping to servers which are very far away. Now, in this example here, WTFast tells me that it improved my connection by 21%. Instead of 125 milliseconds ping, I now have 99 milliseconds thanks to that service. However, when we take a look at the network graph built into Battlefield 1, then we see a latency of 116 milliseconds, not 99 milliseconds. And when I join the exact same server again with WTFast disabled, then I get a latency of 104 milliseconds. So WTFast did not lower my ping to that server by 21% or 17 milliseconds, it increased my ping by 12 milliseconds. This wasn't limited to Battlefield 1, as I noticed the same in CSGO and Overwatch. I also tried to manually choose a network route inside of WTFast, but the results were always the same. It could not improve my connection even when it said it did. Now let me be crystal clear here. I do not say that these services intentionally provide false data. It is very tricky for these applications to measure these values and provide 100% accurate data. What I want you to take away from this is that you cannot fully trust what these applications report because of how problematic it is for these services to gather accurate data on the connection to the server. Especially when you consider that game servers running on AWS, Azure or the Google Cloud platform do not even respond to an ICMP echo request. So Haste, Outfox, WTFast and similar services are absolutely able to lower your lag, latency variation and packet loss, but only if they can provide you with a better, faster path to the server than your internet service provider can. If your connection already looks like this, then you will not benefit from such services. Which is why none of them are able to improve my connection to the game servers. So the only way for you to find out if these services will help you is by using them. Luckily you can test them for free, so I want to encourage you to try them out and see how they work for you. But don't trust the reports of these applications too much or judge them by how a game feels. You better test these services with games like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, CSGO, Overwatch or Team Fortress 2, as these come with a built-in network graph that tells you the hard facts about your ping, latency variation and packet loss. Now, what else can you do to improve the quality of your connection to the server? First and foremost, do not use Wi-Fi for online gaming. It's prone to interference and congestion as the 2.4 GHz band is highly saturated and most access points and Wi-Fi routers can only talk to one wireless client at a time. If you have to use Wi-Fi for online gaming, then you should make sure to use either channel 1, 6 or 11, as these are the only non-overlapping channels on the 2.4 GHz band, which has better range and penetration than the 5 GHz band, which is why you might choose 2.4 GHz over 5 GHz, depending on your building and the distance between the access point and the client. You should also do a Wi-Fi scan of your environment to find the channel with the lowest utilization. If there are already 10 networks on channel 1 and only 2 on channel 6, then choose channel 6. Do not trust the auto setting for the channel selection on your Wi-Fi router or access point. Another thing that you can do to improve your Wi-Fi is invest in a MU-MIMO access point. These are able to simultaneously communicate with multiple clients, which greatly reduces latency and the risk of packet loss. Sadly, they are also very expensive. And lastly, you should invest in a router which does not suffer from buffer bloat, as that results in massive ping spikes of several hundred milliseconds. You can find out more about that in the video that I have linked to in the description down below. So that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have tried one of these services, then please leave a comment, as I'm very interested to hear how they worked for you. If you enjoyed this video, then it would be great if you could support me on Patreon, as YouTube's ad revenue is sadly not enough anymore to run a niche channel like mine. Without the awesome support that I get from my patrons, Battle Nonsense would not exist anymore. You can find a link to my Patreon in the description down below, where you can also find links to my social accounts in case that you want to stay up to date on the videos that I'm working on. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, have a nice day and take care. My name is Chris and this was Battle Nonsense.